What is the should be vision and role of ODA in changing development landscape? How to vitalize role and ways of development cooperation? Establishing links between Busan Global Partnership and current post-2015 MDGs discussion.
We believe to achieve our common goal, while the core goals and outcomes of the MDG should be succeeded, it should be people-centered and universal, embracing three dimensions of sustainable inclusive development, as well as promoting global peace and security and human rights.
No doubt, ODA has made a major contribution towards MDG achievement, both directly, for instance, through support for specific health, education, and sanitation interventions, or indirectly, through measures which promote inclusive growth, capacity development, and democratic governance more broadly. ODA allows catalytic interventions to speed up progress in global development challenges and MDG achievement.
The aim is not how to make things easier for donors, it is how to make things better for developing countries. We need to know what the key challenges are for developing countries, what the obstacles to successful implementation of their own development strategies are, and what their priorities are for helping them to tackle those objectives. The partnership can help them do all of these things.
All feel that the changing ODA development architecture and development financial resources discussion is just ahead of us.
Considering how all of their actions are working and whether all this is going in the right direction or what needs to be fixed, not through negotiations.
Third point is monitoring evaluation of the ODA projects. Implementation is not systematic.
Now, what we're trying to do with ODA, if you will, and what we're trying to do going forward is figuring out how to use ODA to tap into or unlock or encourage good behavior or open people's wallets, if you will.
For example, we Japan have several experiences where triangular cooperation has been very successful.
But they didn't discuss aid effectiveness, but they said development effectiveness.
In order to reach this target, women have to develop ourselves to be accepted by society.
So that now government now trying to find a new way to mobilize more of the funding to improve infrastructure by develop the public-private partnership. Yeah.
I think the most important capital for developing country is cognitive or spiritual capital.
How many models of ODA are in use?
So I think what's important here is, are we making some progress? The answer is yes. Are we making as much as we would like? The answer is clearly no, but we are making progress.
Make a little twist on his terms and talk about the hyperactivity of multiple actors in the development scene.
So to say that just because economists have been unable to find it, that it is not there, that's a bit of a high order.
So if the government, public sector, cooperate with the private sector, definitely we can promote more the social enterprises activities.
If that managed to combine economic aspects with improved standards for working conditions and labor rights, etc.
Another important keyword is not action-oriented, action and result-oriented.
And their real wages are going up. That's what development is. The real wages go up.
This will call for structural change in agriculture, structural change in the rural infrastructure.
And also we have got massive public investment in forestry programs, and we encourage and we have the ODA support for community forestry programs.
The government would not be able to provide more subsidies.
Leadership, especially concerning the industrialized countries.
The role of government, I thought that was very clearly put by FAM.
How social and solidarity economic model that you suggest will reduce the informalization of women's work?
And even the developing countries can have their own voices, which means that the political leadership will be very important, but the leadership should be coordinated among the leaders between the developed and developing countries.
And they see cooperatives, social SSE, very much as a way of facilitating the transition out of informality to formal.
He talks about the New Deal as the framework. He has been involved in and finalizing new framework of he's the best experts in this field as well.
Again, as I said, the climate change impacts are going to have a very deleterious effect on whatever gains that we have made in implementing the Millennium Development Goals.
Because they've realized that the economies of scale requires that there is a component in which we deal with them not as individual states but as collective.
Of the belief that we need a different approach. As in the morning Rick mentioned that during the Paris Declaration monitoring and the evaluation process, we found out that these countries need a different approach.
We talked about it yesterday. There's too much emphasis on the role of market economies, as if they provide the answers on all the tremendous challenges.
Let's have the left-hand part is suggested by high-level panel as the basis of MDGs.
Without addressing these two questions, architecture and paradigm, we may have to repeat the same mistake we had with the MDG.
Today we know that the state is not enough, that the market is not enough, and as Mr. Melker correctly say, we need to look at societies.
Korean old saying tells that when rain comes, the VIP comes. So all of the audience is regarded as the VIP. Thank you very much.